All right, so welcome back, everyone. It is week 2, day 5, afternoon lecture, starting on media queries. Okay, so as usual, I have a little slide for you guys prepared. Let's have a conceptual intro to what media queries are, and then I'm going to be moving on to the platform and then building some media queries from scratch. All right, so if you go to the JavaScript section and then go to media queries, you can get there before I turn there. All right, so I am going there and I am scrolling all the way to the bottom to get to this code here. Okay, we're going to take a look at this code. We're going to talk about it. But before we get here, let's go through the slide. All right, so let's talk about media queries. All right, here we are, media queries. And as you can see here, media queries have to do with different types of view sizes of different devices. Okay, we want to build websites that are going to adjust to whatever type of device the user may be using. Okay, so far we've only graded you on building a static website, that is one that does not resize with the page. We've told you not to worry about that. We have introduced a little bit of Flex and how Flex works, and Flex has that flexibility, but it doesn't have that complete control that we need that will reshape our web page depending on the screen size. So let's talk about media queries. I'll go through 4 slides with us now, and then we'll jump right into it. Okay, so what's a media query? All right, media queries are a fundamental aspect of responsive web design, and it allows us to define sizes that are applied based on the device and screen size. So look at the GIFs there. As they change, you can see how the website would change with it. All right, we can use media queries to adjust the layout and styles of our website and to provide the best possible user experience across different devices. Okay, we can check the screen size using CSS. We can adjust the styles based on that screen size, and we can also adjust the layout. Okay, so there's lots of websites now that you would see designed for all screen sizes. Bootstrap gives us that ability automatically. Very easy to set up with Bootstrap. When you incorporate the nav bar, it resizes the nav bar for you, creates that hamburger icon when it's a small view. We're going to want to figure out how to do that on our own without having to rely on a service like Bootstrap. Okay, so let's take a further look into it. How do we use media queries? Okay, to use media queries, we need to define a few things. Type of media we want to target. All right, the screen size. All right, like we mentioned, the media feature we want to apply. All right, that is width or orientation, and the values for the media. All right, so we can have media queries for landscape view as well as non-landscape portrait view. Okay, so we want to adjust for all different types of media sizes. Okay, now when we are working to check with different media sizes, we're going to use our browser. We're going to inspect and use our responsive tool. Okay, I don't think this, I think it's slow loading my image. I had an image here where it would show you where to inspect. Let me just briefly show you this. So if I go to Google here and I right click and I click inspect, all right, and now that I have my inspect tool open, I can click this tool. We've been used to this tool, right? That we can hover over and see different elements. And this one is the one I want to click, the one right next to it. Okay, this gives me the ability to, well, first it starts off with responsive, and you can resize the page according to what you need there. We can see the exact dimensions for different devices. For example, iPhone 12 Pro, if I click it there, it has it saved 930 pixels wide, 844 tall. Okay, so this is a way that we'll test our design, our website on different sizes. And that's what this slide is trying to, oh, there it is. Okay, so there's the button. There's where you want to click it. This one's the important one. That will take us here. And that will allow us to resize this the screen. Okay, so let's continue with this presentation. Almost done. Got one more slide. Here we are. All right, and we have nested media queries. We're not going to deal with this so much today, but I just wanted to introduce it to you briefly. Nested media queries. Media queries can also be nested, right? Allowing for us to define more complex styles based on multiple conditions. So as you can see here, this one is dealing with the orientation landscape, and that's within this max width. Okay, so we're going to learn about what these sizing styles are. We can also use min width, device width, and resolution. Okay, today we're going to be working with min width. All right, and that's the end of our slide. Let's get into it. Let's get into media queries. So I'm going to pivot over to the platform now. Before I continue, let me just take a quick poll. How well do we feel like we understand the concept of what media queries are and why they're important? Just want to make sure you're all with me. Okay. So I want to start from here, but slightly change something. All right. I'm going to take this code and slightly augment it. Right. So the first bit of code that I'm given is, where is it? Is it up here? Yes. Very similar to the code below. So actually, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to get started with this. What we're going to do is just change the color of a button. Let's just change some button colors based on the size of the page. Okay, so I've started off here. I just want to close this out real quick. Okay, I want to see here a red hello world that lets me know, okay, my CSS is connected, so I'm good to get started building my web page. So let's go ahead and get started with that. What is this one here? All right, I don't need that. Okay, so here I am. Let's continue from here. All right, so I said I wanted to build some buttons. So let's build those buttons. Okay, so I'm going to build a, I want to build a H1. Instead of it saying hello world, I'm going to say media queries. Okay, media queries, media queries. All right. So now I'm going to build a UL. Inside of my UL, I'm going to have, well, let's put this, I want to put this in a nav. So actually, let's build a nav. Okay, inside the nav, I'll build a UL. Inside the UL, I'll build several LI items. Okay, I'm going to build 4 buttons, and I'm going to call them button 1, button 2, button 3, and button 4. Oh, well, I actually didn't. I just wrote the name button. I didn't write it in a button. Okay, so let me just see button 1, button 2. Almost done. Okay, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to, like I mentioned, I'm going to change their color based on the size of the screen. So we'll just start with something easy like that, so we get the concept of how the media query works, and then we'll actually build out a page that would be responsive, like one of those GIFs that you saw on the slide. Okay, so we're starting here. So we have our buttons. Let's see the buttons in view. Here it is. Let's just slightly design our page so that it's a little bit more easier to view. Okay, so I'm going to say to all my list items, list style type, or just list style none. Okay, so there's that, and I want to flex my UL. All right, so there's that. Let's add a little bit more width. So width, 500 pixels, and justify content space between. Okay, so there's my 4 buttons. Now I said I wanted to change them. So now I have to target my buttons. So let's just do, before I start coloring my buttons, I want to start setting the rules for the media query. So let's look at what we have here. Okay, so we have here, let's copy this over. We have here our media query. Here, this at media is all that's really needed. Okay, this is going to ask for the size of the device, and this is saying max width 480 pixels. Okay, what does that mean? That means that we will start styling these stylings. Oh, it says right there, there's a comment. Okay, the stylings will apply if the device is 480 pixels or less. Okay, this is applying the style if it is 480 pixels or less. Now, this is what we've been given on the platform. I want us to change from here. Okay, we're going to make a request that the platform changes this as well. We're going to actually ask you to do min width. Okay, so let's do min width. And we're going to find out why it's set to 480 pixels in just a second. But we're going to set the min width to 480 pixels. And we're going to set this for the mobile view. Okay, so let me just double check that I'm doing this one right. Okay, so all right, let's see what we're targeting. We're targeting the nav button. And do they have the class of nav button? No, they need the class of nav button. So let me just give that class dot nav class equals nav button. All right, let's put this in all 4 buttons. Okay, so now we're targeting it. Let's just see that what we have so far. I just like to take a look on my page every so often that I work on it. Okay, so now our buttons are yellow. Okay, now our buttons are yellow. And I want to set the min width actually to be not 480 pixels, but 768 pixels. Okay, so now if I inspect my page, if I move it past that threshold of 768 pixels, it will turn yellow. So we can see the width right here. Okay, so this is where the width is. This is where I'm looking. And as I shrink it below 680 pixels, it will no longer apply that yellow color to the buttons. Do we see that there? So this is through the use of a media query. This is all done through a media query. Okay, so we're going to use this tool that's able to identify the size of the screen and apply certain CSS rules to go ahead and build a page that would resize based on the media query rules that we set. Okay, so this is what I want us to see. And so let's look at what min width does. It's saying we will set the stylings only if the device is a screen with the width of 480 pixels or less. Actually, I should say more, right? I think I messed that up. So when it's not 480 pixels, it's 768 pixels or more. So as soon as we get to past 680 pixels or more, that's when it turns yellow. Okay, so that's our first media query. That's how it works. Let me take another pulse check just so we are all on board here. Do we see how the media query took effect and we were able to change the color of the button when we moved past 768 pixels? And this is by setting the min width to 768. Okay. All right. So I will emphasize that the best way to learn this is not to just watch us do it during the lecture, not to watch us build it from scratch, but to do it yourself. Actually take the code from the platform or take it from our GitHub and slightly tweak it a little bit. Change the colors, change the min width size. Okay, so let's look at something here. I want to show us this device sizes. And I don't know, Narciso, would you recommend that we still work with these sizes? I know you're eating. I just looked over.
That's okay. What I would do is, okay, so this is breakpoint, a breakpoint approach. These days, it's not quite as reliable to go with the breakpoint approach. What you really want to do is just kind of test your site in every width. And then when it starts looking janky, that's when you put your media query in. But what I do generally is I go over to Tailwind and I use their breakpoints because I enjoy their default breakpoints.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if I would go to like Google Tailwind breakpoints.
Okay. So you want me to do that? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the customizing. You know what? Let's just go to the site and I'll show you where it's at. The customizing screens is fine. Yep. Tailwind app? No. What's that?
I don't know.
Tailwind CSS. There we go. Sponsored Tailwind CSS. Build website. There we go. Yep. And let's go to docs. Let's go down on your left to no, keep going. There you go, container. And there's your breakpoints.
Okay, so this is a better, thank you, Narciso, appreciate that. So these breakpoints here, I would recommend that we look at these and reference this here. I'm going to link this in the chat for us to see.
Yeah. So remember, Tailwind is a mobile first framework. So what they define as small is larger than mobile. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that small is probably more akin to a large phone up to a tablet.
Okay.
Then medium is probably tablet, and then large is desktop.
Okay, so let's make a note. Large phone.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the rest of these are desktop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you probably only are going to need small, medium, and large. And then you want to, of course, since we're going mobile first, you want to change that from max width into min width. So
Okay.
you'll say min width 640 px.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go with that. Min width 640.
Mm-hmm. And that's your large phone up to tablet.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yes, we are going to recommend you go with Tailwind's sizing here. And I marked it up so that you can take a look at that on the lecture, screenshot that note that I made there. Okay. So, okay, we're going to go with our min width being 640. And as Narciso mentioned, this is going to be for the mobile viewport. Okay, this is going to be for the mobile viewport. So I'll leave a comment here. The following is for when the view is past mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so by default, we want to add some rules to our CSS. Let's say we want to color our button. Our button is going to be, by default, outside of this media query, .nav btn, and let's color it, background color, red.
Watch that M. You got an M instead of an N.
Ah, nice catch. Thank you, Narcisa. All right, so let's take a look here. And so if I shrink my buttons below that threshold of the new number being 640, right? This is going to be our mobile view. So anything below 640, we have a default rule. As you can see, I can make it 51 pixels wide. All right, this is going to be our mobile first rule, which means that anything that we set by default outside of the media queries, this is going to be the CSS rule that we apply. And we say mobile first because your website is most likely to be visited or viewed through a mobile device, because there's more mobile devices out there than there are computer screens. Everyone uses their mobile device, right? So when you put your portfolio website out there for a recruiter to see, to click on from the top of your LinkedIn page, they're most likely going to view your website on their mobile phone. And so that design, mobile first, is to catch that view, right? So you set all your design rules for a mobile screen and write your media queries following it for all the other screen sizes, okay? So then you account for those views that we saw in Tailwind. All right, then you account for that anything past small, that small media device. Then you account for tablets, and then you account for the making your website for the desktop view, right? So 1024 pixels or more. All right, the website view that we would have built for our test would have been something around 1,000 pixels. Okay, the width of the view of the page should have been something around 1,000 pixels. So we're used to working with the desktop view. All right, and that's because we started coding on our desktop. We needed to do that. But now we want to prioritize building our websites for mobile devices and also for desktop. So we're going to use media queries to do both. Okay, so we're going to set our rules for our mobile website and then also use media queries following it to change the view of the a page when it's past certain screen sizes. So we set the first one, 640. All right, let's do the next size. So the next size we said was going to be 768. So this is going to be for all of our tablets. So I'm going to write here past tablet size. Okay, I'm going to change the color to blue. And then I'm going to, what was the number I said? 768. 768. So let's go ahead and change that. 768. 768. Okay. So now we should see when it goes past 768. Let's see that view. This is for our tablet. All right. So by default, it's going to be red. When we go past the mobile view, right, we're about to hit it. Remember that when we get past the mobile, it's going to be 640. Okay. Now we've made a net between 640 and 768 to turn it blue. So we should see it go from yellow to blue. All right. So, from red to, what are we changing to? Okay. Yes. From red to yellow, excuse me. We should see it go from red to yellow. And then when it passes the tablet size, we should go to blue. Okay. So then 768, there we go. We go to blue. So we're able to account for that small difference between mobile and desktop by writing here min width 768. And this is for when our when our screen goes past mobile. It goes past mobile, but not yet past the tablet size. Okay, so it's not yet past the tablet size, so it turns from red to yellow, and when it passes that tablet size, it goes then to blue. Okay, so these are different sizes. Let's see it on the different dimensions here. So let's click a phone. Let's click iPhone. We see here it's red. Let's click an iPad mini. iPad mini is technically within the desktop view. It's a little bit big. Let's see if we can get a iPad Air. No. What's another tablet-like device? I only know the iPads as tablets, really. None of these devices are going to fall in the middle, huh? Okay. Well, you guys saw that middle view. I just can't find a device to actually match it. Let me see here. Okay, that's blue. I need a yellow. And I think you can add more devices to this thing. Let's see, if I go to edit, I can add a custom device here. So there's a lot more I can select from. Let's see, devices. If I want to add a, say, Pixel 4 and a Kindle. I think a Kindle is a good tablet size to check, right? So let's try those.
The Galaxy Tab S4 is also a tablet.
Oh, nice.
It's right above Kindle.
Okay, so I'll get that one too. So let me try these here. Galaxy Tab S4. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. There's my yellow buttons, and that's how you can select more different devices here. And I can just scroll through. There's a lot more that I could have selected. Okay. So let's try. I just want to see if the Kindle would have worked. Nope, Kindle wouldn't have worked. Okay, so Galaxy Tab, that's our tab size. And like Narciso said, it's not always a exact science. As you saw, most of the tab sizes that I got from Google, they don't match this exact tablet size. So it's kind of the ground may be shifting, but we can always account for different views using our media queries. Okay. So let's do that last sizing for desktop. Okay, so this is for a large desktop. So let's go ahead and copy this. Change the numbers once more. For larger desktop sizes. And we said the number is going to be 1024. So 1024. And we'll change it here. Okay, so there's that. And let's change it to, let's find a color. I want to go with indigo. Sure. Oh, it's too close to blue. Okay, let's just make it pink so that I can move on. There's better. Okay. Now I'm gonna just slightly change this. I want to now see this with the 1024 media query. So past a large view, that's 1024. Let's switch it from red because we already have red. What's another color? Green. There we are, green. Past 1024, we get green. So we have different sizes accounted for. Now our button goes from mobile to tablet. It goes yellow. Past tablet size. And then to a large desktop size, we go green. All right. So there we go. We've changed our buttons based on the different screen sizes. And we can test that by using our inspect tool on our browser. Okay, so mobile first, we design our rules here to account first for what the mobile view. So default, we have our nav button to be red. And then it changes, right? It changes as soon as we get past 640 pixels. We go to yellow, and then we go to blue, and then we go to green when we hit past 1024. All right, so let's see this one more time. All right, so we have our different colors changing at different view sizes. Now we're gonna do something a bit more in depth here. Let's take one more pull just to make sure you guys are with me though. Okay. All right. So now that that's complete, what I want to work on next is making a website that will change as you see in this wireframe. See how it changes? Let me go ahead and zoom in. In the desktop view, we have these divs, these fun facts to the left and the topics to the right, right? We have small divs on the left, big divs on the right. When we switch this to mobile, you want to be able to see our topics go straight to the center column. And we want to see our fun facts completely disappear. So we want to make our fun facts disappear and our two topics to take up the entire width of the device, or not the entire width, but the entire center column. Okay, so let's work on making this happen. And I'm going to do that with these media queries already set in place. Okay, so I'm going to use these media queries, and we are going to go ahead and build our page. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to leave the nav buttons there in case you want to play with those. I'm going to move below the nav buttons though. Okay, so I'm going to move below the nav buttons, and I'm going to start building our page. So I'm going to take from platform here, and let's see here if this is worth taking. I want to, well, actually, you know what? I'm just going to build it from scratch. I'm not going to use this here. I'm just going to build the fun facts as we see them here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go in to the HTML, and below the nav, I'm going to create a section tab, a section element, right? This is like a div, but it's just has a slightly different name. So we just have it represented by its name, section, right? It's generic section, the document. Now in my section here, I'm going to add a couple more tags. I'm going to add an aside. All right, this is going to be the fun facts to the left side, and I'm going to have also the main. Okay, I'm going to have the main content. So this is where my articles are going to be, topic 1 and topic 2. Okay, so this is the one I'm referring to. So this is going to be the main, and then this is going to be the aside. Right, so I'm going to write my 2 fun facts in there. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go into this side, and let's, in this aside, let's write, let's write an article. Article dot fun dash fact. Enter. Okay. So now this article needs a header. So I'll say H3 fun fact. Let's just see that now that I've written something. So here's my fun fact. Let me close out of this view. And I'm at 100%. Okay, so this is where I want to be. Here's my fun fact. And I also need a bit of text below. So I'll say P and then lorem times 2. Okay, so there's that. And so do I need another one? I want 2. So let me copy this one. I'll add this below. And there's my 2 fun facts. There's my 2 fun facts. Okay, I want to control these fun facts. So let me give some dimension to it. But actually, before I start styling, before I continue styling, let me just finish the rest of the page. It would be really easy to finish. I'm just going to write topic 1 and topic 2 below. Okay, so let me go ahead and finish with the HTML here. Okay, should be really quick. So I want to write 2 more articles. So article, and then this one is going to have like a class of topic. Okay. And, well, I don't want to copy it yet. Let's do an H2 topic 1. And then we want to write some P tags in here. So P lorem times 9. Okay, so there's topic 1. And let me take a look here. Yeah, that's good. All right, so let's copy this article and just switch the name of the header. switch this to topic 2. Okay, now that I've switched that, now that that's switched, let's take a look. Okay, so here is my page. Now I want to rearrange it, right? We want to rearrange it. But what I want to do before I start editing my page and touching my CSS, I want to reinforce the idea of creating a mobile first design, right? Mobile first. So I'm going to build this page and create this view first. Let's first create this view. Okay, so we are going to tackle that first. And so in order to do that, we need to make this fun fact disappear. So we need to, actually, let me change color here. Right, so this fun fact and this fun fact, these are not visible. These are not visible in our mobile view, right? Because if we look here, we just have our topic 1 and topic 2. So we actually have to make our fun facts disappear. How can we do that? It's actually really easy. How can we make our fun facts disappear? Anyone have any suggestions?
Could we do like inner text equals 0 or something? Or there you go. It looks like Carter's got a better explanation. Remove would be better.
That
Yeah.
remove? Okay. Yeah, that would be removing it through the JavaScript. But you know what? Maybe I wasn't so specific in my question. I'll just show you what I mean. So let me write here. I'm going to target my fun fact. So it has the class name of fun fact. So .fun dash fact. If I open this now and if I say display none, there you go. It disappears. So I've just targeted my fun fact and I've just said display none. So let me comment it out. It reappears. Comment it, display none. And by default, when I place it outside of the media query, right? When I write it at the top of my page, there it goes. It's disappeared. How can I make this reappear? How can I make this reappear when I stretch past the mobile view, right? Because this is the mobile view. Right now, it's looking close to our target, right? So let me just pull that out. Ooh, almost closed it. Sorry. So let's look at this. Smart info, topic 1 and 2. Topic 1 and 2. All right. So all I really need to do is put a border around this, but yeah, put some margin on it, and it'll look pretty close to this. I just need a better header here. Okay. So I'm already close to having this mobile view. I need now for topic 1 and 2 to go side by side next to each other. Or actually, no, they're still stacked on one of another. Okay, they're still stacked. But I need fun fact. These two fun facts, I need them to appear when I stretch past a mobile view. Okay, I need them to appear when they stretch past a mobile view. Okay, so any ideas on how to do that?
Would you just add it to like the desktop media query so that way it only appears there?
Yes.
And they go past it?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So let's target this fun fact and this display none. And let's go to when we go past the tablet size. Okay, when we move past the tablet size, just before the larger desktop sizes. Just before there. And then instead of display none, we go display block. Display block. And display block is what it is by default. Okay. If we, for example, I'm going to just comment this out. All right. If I inspect my page, if I hover over this fun fact area, you can see here display block. Display block is by default this is the rules applied to all the divs that we would create. Most of the elements we create are display block. Remember, there's a difference between inline elements and block elements. We learned this from HTML. All right, all that I need to do to switch it from disappearing, which is display none, right, from having it not appear on the page, from display none to reappear, is to switch it back to its default view, which is display block. Okay, so that's what I just did. Let me switch back on display none. And I have display block applied when we move past 768 pixels. So let me make sure I'm at the right percentage view. Okay. All right, so here we are. Fun fact, it disappears. There it is. So when we move to mobile, completely disappeared. When we move past it, fun fact is back there. Okay. Now it's a matter of positioning on the page, but we're able to make certain articles appear and disappear based on the size of the page. Okay, so let's see this. We can see this apart. Sorry, not apart, but we can see this also without even having to use the inspect tool. We can just shrink the browser width. And you can see fun facts disappear, reappear, disappear, reappear. Okay, so now we've finished making them appear and reappear. We need to make them make the layout of the page look nice now, right? So we want to, where's the not this, where are we at? There we are. Okay, so we want to make this nice view where the fun facts and the topics are side by side. Okay, so let's work on that. We're almost done with our page. Okay, so let me just write that smart info at the top there. So I'm going to see here, H1 smart info, format my document. Okay. So smart info, media queries. All right, so here we are. Actually, I want to make this an H2. Okay, so let's continue. We have our smart info and our fun facts. We made them disappear. Now we want to make them appear side by side next to each other, we said. So let's work on that. All right, so what I want to target now is the container holding the fun facts. So this is side and the main. Side and main are siblings. So I want to target the section and put display flex on the section. So let me find out where my section is. Okay, so I'm going to say section. display flex. And let's see what we have here. Okay, it's looking better. So we have display flex. And do I want to apply justify content? Not yet. I want to say I just want to test something. Justify content space between. Did that change it? I think it gave it a better view. So without justify content. Okay. All right. And with justify content, I don't think it's really changed much at all. But I'm going to leave it. And one last thing, I want to check align items. Okay, so align items, center. And just one more thing I want to test, flex start. Okay, I didn't think it would make a difference. I just wanted to test it. Okay, so we don't need these. This works just fine without it. And there we have our page built with media queries. So we have the left article appearing and disappearing based on the size of the page. We can make the articles have different sizes based on, for example, let's say we can change the view of the page, whether it's on a large desktop size versus a something that's just past a tablet. Okay, so we can set, for example, the flex properties to be a certain dimension. So for example, for this one here, for the article, let's see, in my section, I have my aside. So I can target my aside and say aside flex 2 when we are past that mobile size. I mean that desktop size. Let me see if that works. Now that fixed it. I think I need to give some flex to the main. So main flex 3. Okay. So now I have my flex property to be 2/3 of the page when it is this desktop size. The fun facts is going to take 2/3 and 2/5, and this main section is going to take up 3/5. Okay, so I had that set for the large desktop view, right? So then when we move back to just past tablet, it shrinks to be this size. I can make this maybe 1/3 and then this side 2/3. So let's copy this and say 1 and 2. Okay, so now it's 1/3 and this main section here is 2/3. When we go to a large desktop, it goes 3/5, 2/5 and 3/5, 1/3 and 2/3, 3/5 and 2/5, and then when we shrink to mobile, it becomes one column, as you see here. Okay, the only thing I would need to do now is add some borders. Okay, but you guys know how to do that. I don't need to style the page so in depth. I just want to show you guys how media queries work. All right, so that's the point of this lecture, how media queries work and how we can change and even make some columns or divs disappear based on the size of our page. Okay, so let's do one last pulse check. How well do we feel like we're understanding media queries so far? Any questions about what I've done? How you'd be using media queries? You can use media queries in addition to Bootstrap. Okay, so you can use Bootstrap's default settings, or you can add your media queries to your own CSS file and link your CSS file and have your CSS file apply these rules in addition to Bootstrap. Okay. Let me think, is there one last thing that I want to let you guys know here? I think there is. This is a minor thing. What you can do also is separate your default CSS rules and your media queries. So you can say, for example, in here, you can say queries.css, okay? And then you can link that CSS file, link CSS, and then change this one, to be queries.css. So there it is. And then we can cut all of this out. So this is just our code for media queries, right? So we can paste that here. And so that way we can have a CSS that's a little bit more cleaner to read. So this is our default CSS rules. And then this would be CSS just for our media queries. You can see my page works just the same. Now I just have two style sheets, one for media queries and one for regular CSS. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for participating in this lecture. I appreciate you guys hanging out and giving it your all on a Friday. So thank you again for sticking it through. And now's the time, if we have any other questions, to let them be on the recording so we can, have that information out there. Any questions about media queries, what we use them for, how to use them?
This is not like too much about a question about media query, but like you were separating your code into the things, and I'm pretty sure Narciso gave us a link. Like you were giving your divs like different names.
Mm-hmm.
So would we still contain these things within divs, or like if we're trying to
When you're
flex
saying
them?
give divs different names, you mean like these sections and the aside tags?
Yes.
So those tags, they exist with different names than div for the purpose of having that specific name. So it's not just div, not just a bunch of divs on your page, because that's not as descriptive. You can use the element selector if that's the only selector on the page without having to give it a class. So that's how I was able to select the nav or the aside or the article or the section. So they're just more descriptive element tags than just a div where you would have to apply a class name and then use a selector to grab it.
Okay, understood. Thank you again for clarifying. I just didn't understand.
Awesome. Glad I can clarify that. Okay, great job, guys. So let's go ahead and end the lecture now. Oh, before I do that, let me just share a calendar like I said I would. One last thing, okay? So I'll have this video up. I'll share it with John, so John can share it with John, you can share it with your class. And next week, we have our project week. Okay, so this is an exciting week because, for one, this wasn't always available to Web Fund students. This is something that we've had available only in the recent couple months. Okay, I didn't have this as a student. I would have loved to have this as a student. So you guys have an excellent opportunity to use all the skills that you would have built in the last couple weeks, or the last 3 weeks actually, and apply them to a project that you want to build for yourself. Okay, we have some recommendations and we'll be pushing you into a certain direction, but you don't have to go there. So we're going to encourage you to build your own portfolio page. And this will be a page, a landing page for a potential employer or recruiter, place where you can talk about your career, your job skills, your story, your background, and all the skills and projects that we will have you build in the dojo. So we'll encourage you to have that foundation, build a profile page, but you don't have to do that. You can group up with other cohort mates, think of an interesting project idea and build it, right? So there's also, and I've had some students do this too, think about family members or friends in your life that need a website for their business, just a basic landing page. Now you're able to make that, all right? And we can also teach you how to deploy that. So it will actually be available on the web for anyone to see. And then you can also have your first business reference as a developer, that you built a landing page for a friend, and then you can have them as a reference, right? So if anyone asks, do you have any experience as a developer? You can already say, you know, within my first couple of weeks of developing, I already started creating websites for my, associates or my contacts. Okay, so build some, websites for some friends or family that need a website. You can build your website for yourself or portfolio. You can build a passion project. If you always had a website that you always wanted to build but never had the skill to build it, now's the week to build it. Okay, so we're going to discuss this more on Monday, but I want to let the idea simmer in your head over the weekend so that those projects you can get inspired about what kind of projects you may want to build. Bring a little notepad with you, write it down as an idea comes to you. Website for this, website for that. Okay, so have different website ideas. Come Monday with those ideas, and then we're going to teach you how to build a wireframe for yourself, a storyboard for yourself, and we're going to plan we're going to plan out our whole week so that each day we do a stand-up. And that's what you see here. These morning stand-ups, we're going to be talking about whether how we've met our goals or what we need to do to meet our goals if we're not meeting them. Okay, we'll go a lot more in depth into this week starting Monday. But congratulations, you guys. You guys got past this test week. You've finished these extra material. This stuff should help you on project week. We're glad we can show them to you. And you guys have an excellent weekend, okay? So let's go ahead and end the recording now. Okay. And